All right, it's time to talk about one of the most clean, elegant, gentlemanly, and assertive genres there is. Of course, we're talking about the genre called Fougère, aka Fern-like or Barbershop. If you want to know all about this particular genre, which just happens to be my favorite of all time, you guys are in for a treat. Stick around, you know the drill. It's coming up right now. Welcome back to another video. Max Forti here. You already know to make a great and lasting impression, smelling good is a great way to start. Of course, I'm going to give you guys 25 plus choices of my favorite genre in the Holy Grail series. This is, of course, episode 5. You're going to get the trailblazers, you're going to get the powerhouses, you're going to get the new Fougères, you're going to get the hidden gems, and of course, the Holy Grail options to make an incredible Fougère collection. If you are into this genre, guys, again, you're in for a treat. Let's kick off the list here with the trailblazers. Going back to, oh, by the way, the Fougère genre, as it were, or the barbershop fern-like smell, harps back to the 1800s. And one of my favorites here, of course, we're going to talk about the trailblazers. This is from 1810, and it's called Clubman by Pinaud. And of course, this particular one is going to be an aftershave of sorts. It's not going to last too long, but it's going to have this really incredible herbal, clean, lavender, kind of a scent profile, a little bit talcum powder, kind of a vibe, powdery, of course. That is the Fougère in of itself, when it comes to the actual scent profile. Fast forward to 1882. This is considered technically the original Fougère. I do consider the 1810 Pinaud Clubman to be the original Fougère myself. But of course, when it comes to the actual recognition worldwide, it is going to be this one right here from the house of 𝐓𝐫𝐴 Fougère Royale. This is going to be a 2010 reinterpretation of the original 1882. And this is, of course, the perfumer Rodrigo Flores Rowe. He did an extremely great job with this one, of course. Clean, elegant, assertive, green, herbal, gorgeous lavender note here. Classic barbershop, clean, elegant, kind of a scent profile. And of course, the Fougère, in my opinion, in order to become a Fougère or a barbershop feel kind of a fragrance, I think there is a pyramid that needs to follow. Citrus, lavender in the heart, along with herbal components or maybe some floral components like carnation or geranium, and in the base, of course, oak moss and coumarin, aka tonka beans. So this one here, Fougère Royale from 2010, a great interpretation of the great Fougère genre barbershop. Pass forward to 1934, we have one here from the house of Dana. This is Qhue, and Qhue is going to be a very powdery lavender, vanilla type of a situation here with some spicy components like cinnamon, for example. And this happened to be one of Elvis Presley's signature scents. He wore this heavily, especially as an aftershave, and Brut by Fabergé, which we'll talk about very soon, was the two main fragrances that Elvis wore. So Qhue, if you like a powdery vanilla and lavender combination with some of the spicy oak moss, green vibes that we talked about, this 1934 will be a great, specimen for an incredible Fougère / barbershop fragrance. Fast forward to 1938, we have Old Spice. This is going to be mostly an aftershave with addition of heavy cinnamon and spices. This is a very nice, creamy lavender, vanilla, and cinnamon kind of a combination. I love this stuff. Amazing for aftershave, especially during the fall, months of the year. I think it's a fantastic blend. Again, Old Spice, very fitting here. It's a very spicy cinnamon, herbal, lavender, creamy, and semi-sweet components. Amazing from 1938. Again, these four were the trailblazers. Now we're gonna hop into the great powerhouse era of the genre Fougère barbershop. 1964, this is going to be from the house of Fabergé. And this is, of course, Brut for Man. I love this stuff. This is a fantastic scent. I love to wear this as an aftershave. Actually, behind me, you can see a gigantic bottle back there. And that one is one that I use heavily as an aftershave. This one here is a cologne concentration, which is actually, could be worn as a signature scent if you want. And Brut is a phenomenal scent because it has everything we talked about here from the Fougère, lavender, oak moss, coumarin type of a trifecta, but it added a very, very gorgeous note of spicy components, like a spicy melange of notes here, along with a very soapy, clean kind of a scent profile that's absolutely uncanny and very particular to this particular fragrance. Opens up very spicy, a little bit sharp, but dries down to this creamy, soapy, clean, barbershop, fresh, traditional, classic aroma. Fast forward to 1973, this particular one happened to be my father's, my late father's, he's passed last year in December during Scent Explorer. May God, bless his soul. But again, this was his signature scent, and it's something that I wear very gingerly when I want to remember him. And this is actually a vintage bottle that belonged to him. This is 𝐸𝐴 Rabanne Pour Homme, guys, 1973. Amazing, spicy, soapy, creamy, just an absolute stunning composition. There was a female version of this fragrance also released in 73, which is 𝐸𝐴, and 𝐸𝐴 was the female counterpart of this fragrance, but this is an absolute stunning. If you're looking for a fantastic, perfect, interpretation of the great Fougère, powerhouse fragrance, guys, check out 𝐸𝐴 Rabanne Pour Homme. If you can get a vintage formulation, you're going to absolutely be blown away. And again, still with the powerhouses here, 1978 happens to be one of my favorite fragrances of all time. This is going to be, of course, 𝐷𝐢 Pour Homme Eau de Toilette. If you can find the one with the sticker from 1978 to, I believe, the late 90s, and then in the 2000s, they were reformulated and changed the bottles, no longer had the sticker. A lot toned down, but if you find the great one from the, again, 1978 to the, late 90s, this is what you're gonna get here, especially the bulky, more square looking wide bottle. This is the one that I love the most because it has a fantastic note of anise. Anise is not really a licorice, but instead is star anise, very spicy. This is not one for everyone. I think from everything here, it's probably the one that's gonna be the most daring and quote unquote hard to wear because of that anise up top. But I love this stuff. Again, this is one of my favorite Fougères of all time. And if I have to, keep only 3, for example, heck, if I had to keep just one, this would be my favorite Fougère of all time. But again, it's not even in my Holy Grails, but it would technically qualify as a Holy Grail because if you have the one with the sticker, it's just as good as it gets. Speaking of as good as it gets, perfumer Pierre Bourdon, to me, it's one of my favorite 5 noses of all time. And he created a masterpiece in this particular fragrance here, which calls, of course, Yves Saint Laurent Coros from 1981. This is basically a Fougère with a very animalistic, leathery undertone of civet, castoreum, honey note here, which is very particular to this fragrance. Opens up very harsh. Again, another one that's going to be very daring. Again, that's why this is the powerhouse list of the late 70s, 80s. This is 1981. Absolutely fantastic scent from the heart into the dry down. It becomes absolutely incredible with a creamy honey facet, the wood notes. It just becomes creamier on skin, becomes better and better as it develops. But the beginning, the first 15, 20 minutes, it's going to be harsh, very animalistic, not for everyone. But I love this. This is a masterpiece in my opinion. The next one here, 1982, is also a masterpiece. And this is going to be, of course, Drakkar Noir from Guy Laroche. Now, if you compare this to all the other Fougères I talked about here, this is going to be the most clean and the soapier version of, it's just fantastic. From all the Fougères I talked about, this is a classic that to this day, I know people that wear as a signature scent. But if you want a straight up Fougère with a clean, soapy vibe, definitely go with this one here. This is absolutely phenomenal. Again, as good as it gets. If you don't want animalistic, leathery, dirty, dark facets, instead you want a more bright, soapier approach, definitely go with this fragrance. It's absolutely fantastic. It's good to go. It's amazing to this day. If you wear this, I guarantee you're going to love it because this is like a timeless classic. These next 4 we're going to cover are going to be mashed into this category that I like to call entry-level or modern interpretations of Fougère, or neo-Fougères, if you will. Coming up here at the first spot here at the neo-Fougères or modern interpretations, we have a 1988 from Davidoff. This is Cool Water. This is an absolutely fantastic composition. This one here really started this aquatic genre that later in 1996 with Alberto Morisha's really took it to the next level with Acqua di Gio, of course, which wasn't really a Fougère, it was more of a floral citrus aromatic scent, but this one here is still a Fougère with this really incredible aquatic, bright, floral kind of undertone that's just so particular to this fragrance. There's nothing else similar to this, and in the market over the years this was copied so much, especially in the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. There was a lot of fragrances in the market that were kind of emulating the scent profile because it was just incredible. Perfumer Pierre Bourdon, again, one of my favorite noses of all time. Also the nose behind Coros that we talked about a little while back is the nose behind this one, and it's absolutely fantastic. Again, if you can find a vintage formula, it's still good today, but if you can find the original form of this particular fragrance, it is absolutely to die for. Second pick here for the Neo Fougères classic, modern interpretation of the classics. We're going to talk about a master perfumer, Jacques Polge, in-house perfumer of Chanel. This is going to be Platinum Egoiste from 1993. Now this one here, vetiver, oak moss, lavender, herbal components, rosemary, cedar, rosewood. Absolutely fantastic. A very woody, sharp, metallic. I think platinum is a very fitting name here. You have this metallic, sharp, kind of a feel to this Fougère, which was very groundbreaking at the time. And this particular profile was then brought to a more of a mainstream kind of a scent profile within a fragrance of a house called Abercrombie & Fitch, which is a more sweeter version of this fragrance, which kind of had the same elements minus the metallic note that this has, and added a watery, sweeter note, which was created mainly for teenage, young adults. Of course, the brand of Abercrombie & Fitch, and the fragrance we're talking about is Fierce, which is again an offshoot of this fragrance by Bruno Jovanovic, along with Christophe Rodomiel, created an incredible fragrance back in 2002 that was kind of like this fragrance, but made for the masses, for youthful, more playful kind of a vibe. But this is a very unique take on Fougère, again, with this metallic, sharp kind of an opening and a gorgeous woody base. Absolutely fantastic take on this Fougère. Speaking of fantastic, unique, 25-year-old perfumer back then, Francis Kurkdjian, created a fragrance that, to me, again, another masterpiece with mint, lavender, and vanilla. Of course, other elements are here, but this is like the main structure of this fragrance. Of course, the classic 1995 Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male. This needs no introduction. I don't have to talk much about it. This is one of the most known fragrances out there with a torso, many different flankers later. To this day, it's a fragrance that keeps on giving. But if you go back to the original, especially in its original formulation, you are in for a treat, guys. If you haven't, this is like, to me, it's a modern take on Pour Homme de Cajon. From back in the day. Again, you can Google that fragrance from Cajon, Pour Homme, which is again vanilla and lavender with a metallic kind of a feel, kind of like the 𝐸goiste, but less woods. But this one here, it's a sweeter, more powdery interpretation of that fragrance, but definitely incredible. Another amazing Neo Fougère. And last but not least, we're going to talk about, if you like a modern, shaving cream, like a foam shaving cream, this is the one to go with. And even the bottle emulates like a shaving cream. Of course, Yves Saint Laurent, this is Rive Gauche. This is one that's really hard to find, especially in this particular canister, the metal canister. Absolutely fantastic. The simplest and easiest way to describe this, shaving cream, like a foam, like a shaving foam cream. You can find this in the bottle in the signature collection of Yves Saint Laurent. It's still kicking around at discounters, or some stores still have it. Word on the street is that it has been discontinued, so it's going to get harder and harder to find. But if you can find any of the formulations of Rive Gauche and you like a clean, soapy shaving cream, foam kind of a deal, definitely check this one out. 2003, amazing stuff here. And again, one of the best interpretations of a Neo Fougère classic with a modern twist. All right, from entry level to high end, I'm going to give you guys 4 high-end interpretations. These are also Neo Fougères, but these are going to be, all 4 of these are going to be niche. And of course, we're going to open it up here with 1725 Casanova from Histoire de Parfum. And again, this is going to harp back into that vanilla lavender kind of a situation. This has like a blonde tobacco, powdery feel. Really, really nice. Reminds me of Tobacco Toscana from Santa Maria Novella. But this has a gorgeous lavender that's very powdery, along with that vanilla. Kind of, again, harping into Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male territory, or Pour Homme de Cajon from back in the day. But it does its own thing. It's got this really nice woody base. It's more on the powdery side. It's a very seductive kind of a, Fougère, very Neo at that. It's like a modern meets classic, but again, easy to wear, easy to please. The vanilla here is done to perfection, along with the lavender. It is absolutely fantastic, guys. If you haven't tried Histoire de Parfum 1725, Casanova is the very fitting name to this fragrance, because you're going to feel like a Casanova when you rock in this fragrance. Speaking of Casanova, here's one that's probably one of my favorites, Neo Fougère's high-end scent profiles, again, from Francis Kurkdjian. This is MFK's Masculine Pluriel. A couple of things that will set this one apart from the other Fougères I talked about is going to be the leathery facet that it has, along with patchouli in the base and vetiver. That leather, vetiver, and patchouli trifecta will make this very assertive, very masculine, as the name would say here, right? Masculine Pluriel, but also very wearable and attention commanding. If you can find the vintage formulation that has this bronze grayish kind of a juice color, that's the one to get. It has been reformulated, so whatever you find today, it's gonna be good, but not as good. 2017 now, this is going to be one of my favorites on the list. I wear this regularly as a signature scent for dressed up situations. From the house of Qhue, this is Viking, the original Viking from 2017. Amazing mint, rose, vetiver, oak moss, lavender, all the components from a great Fougère. And again, with some modern twists and components. This is incredible. It's not gonna be for everyone. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. I always put it on a, decant travel sprayer and bring it with me wherever I go. This is one that gives me really good projection, great performance, and makes me, it gives me that smell that makes me stand out in the crowd. There's no one out there really smelling quite like me when I'm rocking this fragrance. And it's one that's, gets me stopped and people ask me, what are you wearing? You smell so good. Again, Neo Fougères, but in a high-end, bracket here. And last but not least, if you want, again, a high-end Fougère that's going to be niche, long-lasting, powerful, but more in a green, resinous, and spicy tobacco kind of a vibe with a leathery undertone. I'd say go with this one. This is the one. This is the one for you if you like what you hear. This is going to be 8 packs from the house of 𝐍𝐸. There is a parfum version. This is Eau de Parfum. Both great. In fact, I think the parfum version has a stronger, creamier, citrus kind of an opening. This one here goes straight into, spicy, dark, rich, resinous territory. I love this stuff. This reminds me of Davidoff Zino combined with Italian Cypress, old Tom Ford private blend. Amazing. I love this stuff. One of my favorites of all time, guys. At the best or last, pick here for the Neo Fougères high end. Now, the next 4 are going to be the quote unquote hidden gems, fragrances that you might not have heard of, but that are great Fougères to try today. And most of these will be affordable with exception of one that's a little bit hard to find because it has been discontinued, which for some people could be considered a holy grail. We're gonna open up this particular list here, or this last bracket, if you will, the hidden gems with Mombassim Homme from 2003. Alberto Morejas is the creator of this fragrance, and I talked immensely about this fragrance in the last 2 years as one of my favorite discoveries from last year into this year. This is just absolutely phenomenal. This is perfection when it comes to a creamy, citrusy, bright Fougère. This is absolutely fantastic. Spring, summer, fall, winter. You can rock this all year round as a signature scent. This is woody, it's green, it's aromatic, it's spicy with a modern, sweet vanilla and spicy kind of undertone. Absolutely phenomenal, guys. Cheapy at that. Incredible performance. Amazing smelling. I don't care how old you are, young, old, connoisseur, seasoned nose. This is a must try. I think you can find this for less than $30, $30 to $40 on average. And I highly recommend you guys check it out if you're looking for a great Fougère as a signature scent. If you want to, get into this, could be an entry level, this could be hidden gem, it could be many things. One thing is for sure, it smells absolutely fantastic. Also from Rodrigo Flores Rowe, this is from 2006, and this is a great Fougère, Neo Fougère. And again, could be an entry level, could be a signature scent. I love this one. The name's fitting. It's John Varvatos Vintage because it has vintage kind of, profiles here. The leather that you have that surrounds the bottle is actually the leather that you're gonna find here. A very nice, smooth leather. It's a very spicy, semi-boozy, woody and leathery kind of a Fougère. Very modern, very easy to wear, amazing for compliments. One thing about this one is though, it doesn't last long. It's gonna give you 6 to 7 hours if you spray your clothes, 8+. But one thing is for sure, guys, this smells absolutely fire. To me, the best John Varvatos ever created, period. Next up, 2010. This is going to be another hidden gem from the house of 𝐷𝐸. This is Burning Barbershop. A very resinous take on Fougère. Yes, this is very resinous, very piney, very woody, very smoky as well. David Sathmals is the perfumer in this fragrance, and he's also the creative director and owner of this house, 𝐷𝐸. And 𝐷𝐸 is going to be a brand that's going to be featured at Scent Explore this year in New York City, the International Niche Perfume Convention. All details below. If you guys haven't signed up for it already, you're missing out, so don't miss out. I believe it's almost at capacity. And if you want to know everything about Scent Explore, go to scentexplore.com. Check out the link in the description of this video to find out everything you need to know about Scent Explore 2025 7th annual. Now, going back to this one, very resinous. There's a lime and vanilla resinous kind of a feel here that's very particular to this fragrance, almost like a cocktail with a smoky and resinous facet. Very unique. I love this one. This is a hidden gem for sure. If you haven't tried it, you like a smoky barbershop, Burning Barbershop is very fitting to the name. You're gonna like this one, but again, another one that's not gonna be for everyone, but it's a hidden gem nevertheless. And hidden gem here from 2018 from the house of Tom Ford Private Blend. It is sad that a lot of the greats from Tom Ford gets discontinued. This is being one of them. There's one that was called Fougère Platine, which I love, but this one here is my favorite. This is called Fougère d'Argent, 2018 release. Absolutely fantastic, guys. This is green, it's aromatic, it's woody, it's spicy, slightly smoky, very creamy in the dry down. Over the last 5-7 years in the world of designers, I have to say this is one of the best Fougères created and unfortunately discontinued. If you can find a bottle of this fragrance, guys, do yourself a favor, grab it. If you can find a place where you can actually try it before you buy it, do it. It's one of the best Fougères, like I said, over the last decade. And of course, you can try everything that I talked about here. Right before I get into, of course, the Holy Grails, you can try anything, even the Holy Grails at perfume.com, the partner of this channel, anything and everything you want to try, indie, designer, niche, discontinued, hard to find, perfume.com, use my code MAX15, all details below, of course. Go to the deals tab, use the code on top of savings, guys. Check out perfume.com for everything you need as far as fragrances when you want to try it before you buy. I smell well, so you don't have to. I spend a lot, so you don't have to. You guys can try it. Make sure you love the fragrance, and when you do, get yourselves a bottle. Now, the holy grails for me, these are going to be the ones, and the last one I'm going to talk about is definitely my favorite of all time. If I had to get rid of my entire collection, it would be the one that I would keep, and that's saying a lot. But we're going to kick off here the holy grails with the 1992 Ralph Lauren Polo Safari. Absolutely love this one, guys. Incredible. The bottle is just so beautiful, very intricate with the shield here. It is almost like a whiskey, kind of a flask. Smells amazing. This is a phenomenal, boozy, spicy, aromatic Fougère, as good as it gets. 1992. This is perfection. If you can find yourself a vintage bottle of this, grab it. This is a perfect specimen of a fantastic Fougère like no other. And you want to talk about perfect specimen also? The Julius Caesar bust here, 2005, MDCI Parfums. This is, of course, Invasion Barbare. And this is amazing, guys. Talk about a great barbershop. Invasion Barbare from NDCI is as good as it gets. If you're looking for a perfect barbershop, doesn't come cheap, especially if you go with the resin bust here from Julius Caesar. And by the way, shout out to Stéphane Bacouche, which is the perfumer of this fragrance. She's very underrated. I had the pleasure to meet her a few times. And I have to tell you guys, this is a masterpiece. If you're looking for, like I said, a perfect one and done, go with MDCI Invasion Barbare. It's a perfect, classic, traditional interpretation of a phenomenal masterpiece Fougère fragrance. MDCI here from 2005. Last but not least, 2016, another discontinued hidden gem from the house of 𝐬𝐵. I bet you didn't know 𝐬𝐵 had a Fougère. This is a perfect Fougère from 2016. This is called Bracken Man. It's got the fern there. Absolutely, the beautiful green gem up top here, magnetic cap, as good as it gets. I'm going to spray a little bit here. Again, discontinued, hard to find. It is absolutely stellar. This is a boozy, incredible lavender, herbal, spices, vetiver, oak moss in the dry down. Smells absolutely phenomenal, gentlemanly, classic, traditional, attention commanding, assertive. I mean, it checks all the boxes, guys. From 2016, it's getting harder and harder to find. If you can find a bottle of this, grab it. I know for a fact it has been discontinued, so I'm happy I have this one in a backup because, again, it is one of my favorite Fougères of all time, and it is a definite hidden gem in my collection. And last but not least, let me get a drum roll. When it comes to a perfect barbershop, which has all the Fougère tendencies, the blonde tobacco, which is the differential here, which makes this very unique, gorgeous lavender notes, some spices, herbal components, and very bright, incredible melange of Mediterranean citruses up top. This is going to be a signature scent kind of a fragrance that I've been wearing for years now, since the 90s. And of course, Holy Grail, as good as it gets, the best Fougère barbershop interpretation, in my humble opinion, is going to go to this one right here, Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme 1994 until 2000, with the sticker glued on here. If you can find this particular bottle made in Italy, that's the one you want. It is absolutely fantastic. Simple as that. One word, fantastic. One and done. This would be it. Guys, there you have it. Massive video. Incredible Fougère fragrances, barbershops. Check them out. All linked below if you guys want to check them out, if you want to try them before you buy them. If there's codes associated with them, of course, I'm going to share with you. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to show your support by leaving a like on this video, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and hitting the bell so you get these videos straight into your feed. And of course, I'll catch you right here with another video very soon. Smell great. See you next time.